Hello, hello. This is Ignacy Trzewiczek from Portal Games.
And Corey Thompson from a whole bunch of different stuff.
And this is Stephen Bonacore, the Podfather of Gaming. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 396. And we're recording this from very weird locations on
Mm.
November 20th, 2025. Board Games Insider, powered by Board Game Geek. And since we mentioned Board Game Geek, I am here at Board Game Geek Con in Dallas, and Corey is,
I am at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia.
and Ignacy is home.
I just came back from convention.
Okay.
Nice.
Which one were you at?
I was at Gramy, which is one of the biggest conventions in north of the Poland, in the city of Gdańsk, was one of the most famous and beautiful cities in the country.
Oh,
And it's a super awesome convention. It was the fourth edition of the convention. I'm going there for the 4 years, doing seminars and panels, super stuff.
excellent, excellent. So why don't you keep telling
Yeah.
us what's going on at Portal Games in your life in general?
In your life, maybe let's start with my life because it's the most important news of the podcast. Our listeners don't see it, but I'm sitting in a very uncomfortable chair, so I'm not yelled by Jack this time. So I'm doing no noise whatsoever, but I'll be whining for the whole podcast most likely. So this was as for that was happening at Portal Games. mm, Race to Berlin, our niche war game, finally made it to the States. Our listeners may remember the whole story with missing ship, tornadoes, etc., etc. It finally made it back to the port, and we unloaded it. So if you are listening to this podcast, and if you're a US backer of the game, you most likely got an email from us. The game is already in our warehouse and we are ready to proceed with the pledge manager for you. So all backers from US, please check your email, check your spam folders and other places where my email can get lost. Because we want to send you the game, Race to Berlin. As for the other things that happens at Portal Games, basically Black Friday. Every company on this very planet
Yep.
is now part of the Black Friday action. I don't know when it started. I don't know how it started, but I know it started in the US, and now the whole world obviously is using this opportunity to offer some super awesome offers for the customers in every single industry. In the board games industry, is the same. So most publishers is running different promotions. At Portal Games, we decided to go with two games. So if you're our fan, we have one game that is called Detective. And our listeners most likely already have Detective in their collection, but we figured out, and basically I figured out, that maybe you're looking for the present or gift for the Christmas. And you, our listener, knowing Detective, knowing the game is super awesome, story-driven crime novel style, we have it for you in a very, very good price. You can buy it for your friends and your family for Christmas. And the other game that we have in the offer is a Brazil, is a brilliant 4X game, our release from 2 or 3 years ago. So two games, visit portalgamesus.com, check the details, see the prices, and support your favorite Polish publisher. As for the other stuff that is happening at Portal Games, I'm very happy and I was not involved whatsoever. I just read the news afterwards. I learned that the Bohemians, our release, made it to the hotness room at BGGCon in Dallas, where Steven is right now. Every year, every single year, BGGCon has a super awesome initiative. They are taking all the hot releases from Essen because the convention takes place right after Essen, and they're voting with the attendees which of these games attendees want to be in the hot games room when the games are set up already with the people helping how to play. And this year, Bohemians, our title, made it to the room. So thank you for all the attendees of BGCon who voted for the game. They wanted it to be exhibited over there. I hope many of our listeners will play the game over there. And besides that, Bohemians is right now in available at Board Game Arena, so you can check out the game at Board Game Arena. And as for me, I cannot show it to the camera yet, but basically my desk right now at this very point has four prototypes. Four prototypes. So this is the stage of the year. We discussed it for years with Steven. it's time to prepare 2026. And so this is my time
Wow.
to evaluate prototypes, to develop prototypes, all the different stuff, four things on my desk right now, and more next week, obviously. So a lot of playtesting, a lot of debating in-house with my team, busy and fun stuff. And as for the conventions, yes, I was at convention Allegramme, and this is it for me this year. So that was last convention of the year for me in Gdańsk, and now I'll be just sitting at home, playtesting, and having fun.
Well, this is the first week back really from Essen, and we've been playing a ton of Essen titles. Um, there's three big ones that are really sticking to mind because the family's been playing them and been really into them. And the first one is unfortunately Bohemians. Oh, the family's been playing Bohemians like crazy. Absolutely love it.
Thank
We
you.
laugh our butts off when someone gives syphilis to someone else, and then it just spreads around the table. Uh,
Of
it's a
course.
great take on deck building. Bravo! It's a really good
Thank you.
game. We've also been playing the newest variation of Six Nimmt. I don't know if people out there are enjoying. Six Nimmt is one of my favorite light, kind of huge group games. I wouldn't call it a party game, but it's a light card game. The newest version is called Baron Ox, and honestly, I think it's the best of the lot. It's closest to traditional Six Nimmt, but when you're building lines, there's no rules about which card has to go where. It's all based on colors. Cards have different numbers of bullheads in colors, and lines break if there's too many cards in the line or too many bullheads of a single color in a line. And
I have a
it
question.
just plays really well. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Is this a Amigo Spiele release as with the six named?
Yes, it was an S and Amigo release.
Okay.
So brand new release, and it's quite good. The real
I,
star has been Eternal Decks. I don't know if you've heard about this one. This is a variant cooperative deck builder out of Japan that's really going crazy. U.S. distribution is going to be with Portland Game Creative, the Portland Game Collective. They've just started pre-orders for it, but Eternal Decks is really, really good. It's hard to describe. It has very esoteric, strange theming to it, having to do with releasing Eternals, which then curse you, and then you try to get rid of the curses. But this is Eternal Decks.
wow.
It's a very cool game, and we've been playing the hell out of it. Also want to do a really quick shout out to my Secret Santa. Uh, like
Again.
I said, well, last time I gave a shout out to the Target that I was Secret Santa for. This time, my
Ah,
Secret Santa has delivered with Votes for Women and Lovelace and Babbage, two games that I've really wanted for a long time, and they went above and beyond. So thank you, Santa. That was really great. So, and I wish I had more to report on PAX, but really it's day zero. I
yeah,
bumped into a few friends in the bar, but nothing's happened yet. Next week.
yeah,
Next
yeah.
week we'll talk about it.
Yeah, same thing over here at the Podfather Gaming, as I mentioned. I'm at BGG Con, and we're on day one now, I guess. Day two, because this really is a 5 day convention. It started yesterday. It was in full swing. Got to play a whole bunch of things here and recently, and I'm going to give a couple of shout outs here. First of all, everyone keeps mentioning Bohemians here, not Ignacy. I haven't played it yet, but everyone says you got to go play it. So
It's
Thank
so
big
you.
good.
big kudos to you on that. So it is a big hit here, and with everybody, and everyone just keeps showing cards of syphilis. Like I got syphilis from you. Everybody keeps doing that, which is great.
Oh, our editor Jake had things to say about syphilis.
Excuse me, my voice is a little raspy here. Fate of the Fellowship continues to be a big hit for Paula and I. Congratulations to Matt Leacock, who is done an amazing job of making it another like pandemic system game, but yet making it different enough. And it's quite different enough in the way it plays out, and of course with the Lord of the Rings theming, it's really up my alley. Love the game. And continuing on Matt Leacock, with Play to Z, our animal rescue team. Paul and I now have played it a number of times, and we're going to get it to the table today to play it with a full deck of 4 players, and it just continues to deliver. It's so adorable. The little wooden animals there that you got to go rescue, and you got to bring them to shelters while you do these missions, which are your timer for the game.
Yeah.
So Matt
Chicken in
Leacock,
a motorcycle. That's all you need to know.
putting a chicken
in a
on the back
motorcycle.
of your motorcycle to rescue it is, that's about all you need to know, right? I mean, it's just great. And then also Twisted Trumpets. It's another Play to Z release, but we've been playing the crap out of it. It's just fun, easy going. You could really very, very strongly think it out, like hard, to figure out the puzzle of how am I going to make this the best Dr. Seussian like trumpet, that in front of me, that has twists and turns and horns. They call them bells, horns, like all over the trumpet, and you got to get flags and this. It's a really big, really cute puzzle that you have to try to solve, but you can play it light and fluffy as well. It's a great game, good family game too. Twisted Trumpets. And that's really where we're at. Yesterday here we played just a bunch of lighter things so that we could get a bunch of large group of people together. I have a chance of playing War of the Ring, I think, later today. We'll see if that actually pans out. And I'm going to continue down the list of the great hotnesses that are here in the hot game room at BGG Con. After this convention, I fly to New Jersey to see Mom and the family for Thanksgiving. And then over to Corey's house, which is going to be fun, eating and drinking too much, without a doubt. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that'll be a blast.
And I'm gonna get. I gotta start giving shout outs here to the Podfather, the cruise number 3, going through the Panama Canal. And right after I do this podcast, I am sending an email to Mary to see if I can convince her that she needs to be on this cruise with Ignacy. Ignacy is going to not want to do it, but Mary's going to want to do this because it's going to be epic. And if anybody out there wants to do this, I think you'll have a great time. Go over to Qwyx.events, QWYX.events, and look on the right side and look for Podfather, the Podfather Cruise, Panama Canal, and you can check out. It's gonna be epic. This is gonna be a once in a lifetime kind of thing where you can't do this possibly in the future because they might be changing whether cruise ships can go through the Panama Canal, and net proceeds go to charity on my cruise. So just so you know that. And let's get over to the event deck. All right, gentlemen. What do we have here? We don't have a huge news week for a change, right? So, but let's start with Corey. Why don't you take this? Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Kickstarter has settled the strike.
Yes, after 42 days, Kickstarter has settled the strike with their workers. This hit pretty much exactly a week ago. It hit the news right after we recorded last time. This is out of Board Game Wire. There is also an article on ICV2. A 42-day strike by workers at crowdfunding giant Kickstarter has ended after the company agreed protections for its long-running 4-day workweek program, raising the minimum salary floor and preventing AI from replacing job roles. So, good job. This is it's interesting. This is, I think, the first major strike with major terms we've had within our industry. We've had some in board game cafes and things tangential to our industry, but I think this marks an important milestone. So
very, very, very cool. Good to see that they've able to get it done without any particularly big problems in the whole thing.
No, it seems like there was no major drama, and everybody worked together and got this done as quick as possible.
Really good. Next one is Asmodee, our good friends over at the biggest company in the industry. They have reported increase in sales. ICV2.com. Asmodee reported sales increase for the U.S. and the world, but showed a loss for the quarter and half year ending September 30th. Interesting. The U.S. sales increased by 3.4% to $63.5 million from $61.4 million a year ago. All numbers converted into US dollars. Paled in comparison to the overall Asmodee growth of 20.7%. The big difference was TCGs. In addition to its own Star Wars Unlimited and partially owned Altered TCG, which it distributes in the US, Asmodee distributes numerous powerful brands in other territories, including Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and the Bandai lines. All in all, good increase, decent increase in sales, though they did show a loss. That is not a foreboding. That's probably almost accounting technicalities where when you're doing good, you end up spending a lot to get sales going and things like that. So nothing here points to anything bad for them. They also mentioned on the M&A side, mergers and acquisition, the company acquired all of the CMON IPs. This could be part of
Well, they acquired Zombicide and Cthulhu Death May Die.
right. Those two particular ones, they point to that as being a big thing for the quarter. So as the big boys go, so do the smaller ones. So hopefully this is good news in general for the industry. Sales are going up. And what else do we have? We have things about Germany and German sales, and they're going up.
Yeah, we don't hear too much about sales in other countries. So it's nice that on Board Game Wire we have this report: German board game sales grow again despite wider economic slowdown, but brick and mortar retail is falling. So it's really nice to see a perspective from another side, at least for me, where almost everything I hear about is North America and US.
Mm-hmm.
So board game sales in Germany, one of the world's biggest tabletop markets, are continuing to grow despite an ongoing economic slowdown in the country. This is new research from the German Toy and Game Trade Association, DVSI, and its tabletop publisher-focused subsidiary, Spiele Verlage. So sales in Germany were up 22% between January and mid-September compared to the same period in 24. So card games, party games, adult games, and family games are all helping fuel the market, with classic games also playing an important role. So it just looks good for the industry, especially in a time of economic turndown.
Yeah. They were saying 22%. I don't know if you mentioned that. 22% up from January through mid-September, which is certainly a tremendous number. And the survey that went out to publishers there, all were very optimistic. 68% of those surveys expected better results over the holidays than a year before. So good news. And Germany's economy has not been particularly strong. I think in general the European economies haven't been doing that well. And Ignacio, you could probably give me even more color on that. But this is all a very good story for us and the German market.
Yeah, of course, I don't have exact data because it's only from my interaction with our partner in Germany or with our sales. But for sure, there was very clear drop of the sales post-COVID. So when we were discussing with our partners in Germany, COVID times, we reported many times the sales for the board games during the COVID was amazing around the whole planet. And then there was like a correction of the sales, and the years right after COVID were pretty difficult in Germany. So I'm very happy to see that they are back on the right track.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And the last piece of news is a small one. And we don't normally talk about game releases, but we have one that's a pretty iconic game, Lords of Waterdeep. The IP, the game itself, has been acquired by Renegade Game Studios. And Renegade, of course, has a very big relationship with Hasbro, and they have been bringing out lots of these hobby titles that Hasbro has, including like Diplomacy, some of the
Axis and Allies, right? Robo Rally. They have a huge number of them.
Right. So now they've added the Lords of Waterdeep, which is very iconic. And we had a quick conversation before we started recording the show that Lords of the Waterdeep might have been the first good D&D based game that came out. Certainly the most modern Euro-y.
Dungeon, 1977.
Yeah, was that really a good game? Was it?
Yes, it was.
Was it?
It was.
I don't know. But anyway, good on Renegade for picking this one up, because it's certainly an excellent game from the sort of like early days, when the hobby was starting to get stronger and stronger. And with that, let's get over to strategy and tactics. All right, gentlemen, we have a bunch of questions here. First one by friend of the show, of course, Marco Dobranic from Croatia. He's always giving us good questions. He's Matto78. And he asks us, how do publishers decide if they're going to publish digital versions of expansions of games for Android, iOS, Steam? How successful has the digital game have to be to make the digital expansions as part of the release? Do you have any feeling, Ignacy, for when your company would actually put the expansion in, to a game, right?
We have a constant problem with this situation described in the email in the question. I'm a publisher of Neuroshima Hex app, for instance, and for the Neuroshima Hex, the base game, the paper version, cardboard version, there is 20 expansions, as our fans know. And in the app, we don't have these 20 expansions, and many hardcore players are asking us over and over again when the new army will make it to the app. And month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year, I say the budget is not making it. Like the sales of the base game, we have with the apps, it is so easy. Like you just get the precise data how much of the base game you sell, and then you have the precise data how many of these users are buying the expansion, yes, additional armies. Then you can very easily estimate how many of the new army you will sell. Then you take a quote from the coders and you see it makes no sense. It is as simple as that. And to give a general answer, the cost of coding are super high. And when you invest in the base game, of course, the base game will have a greater sales, so it more or less makes sense. But then with the expansions, only hardcore players who play the game over and over again will make an in-app purchase, will make an
Right.
in-app purchase to buy a new army, and these percentages are not very high, and still you have to pay a lot of money to get a new army. So it's always just a math. It's just a
Yeah.
calculation of the cost, and unfortunately, the odds are in many cases against. So of course, we as players would love to have all the expansions in the apps, but it is very expensive.
Yeah, I think there's no better answer than what you just gave. And there's really no magical formula, but you said it right. It's like people will buy the base, but they may not want to buy the next piece of it. Only those hardcore players will always play it. And how much money you have to invest to put these expansions in there, it's just a very substantial amount.
Yes,
Yeah.
to give a roughly estimate. Of course, I will not give the numbers. One, because they are confidential. Second, I don't remember them. But to give you like a general thing, when we were calculating last year, adding a next army to the app, to the Narushima Hex app, and we made this estimate. Yes, based on the data that we have, and the estimate will show that we need to have 7 years of sales of this new army to pay off the cost of the coders. Like it makes no sense. Like this is
Yeah.
like you will not invest money for 7 years to
Wow.
get to the zero, yes, to get to the balance.
Yes.
So yes, this coding is very expensive these days. And as I mentioned, not every user is using in-app purchase option.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Marco continued with another question, and he said, "Talk about the podcast. How many subscribers do you have approximately? What's the most listened, viewed, downloaded episode? What's the future of the podcast? What would make you end it? Winning a lottery? Being bought by Asmodee? Is Asmodee want to buy a podcast? Oh, wait,
No.
we know people there. We can talk to them. What do you think?" And if Ignacy and Corey left the podcast, would Steven continue alone? Wow. It's not like if Steven left, would it continue? It's if you guys left, would I continue? What Marco, I don't know.
No. There's a follow-up here. I guess he would continue since he likes to talk so much.
Yes.
So
I mean,
I would love to know demographics on the podcast. I don't
Yeah.
have access to the podcast website, the distribution
We
source.
Corey, we can give you access to certainly the website, but it's very hard. And all of these questions, or at least the stuff about subscribers, they're actually hard. We don't. None of us look
You
at.
can usually measure downloads, but what people are actually doing with them and secondary downloads are never measured. I used to go into the demographics a whole bunch with other podcasts that I ran, and it's tough to find
All right.
meaning in those numbers.
So listen, I really think, because we care about our listeners, Corey, that you should, Corey, go and do some research on numbers of subscribers, Corey, and make sure that
I'll
we
do
get all of this data for Marco and all of our listeners.
I kind of want to do it anyway.
What's that?
I want to do it anyway.
Oh, good. All right.
I've been wanting to do it for a while.
So finally do some work as the
Thank
intern
you.
and actually get out there and let's do this. Because I actually want to know too. Well, I mean, there was a time, and I'll tell you this, there was a time where we had we had between 15 and 20,000 downloads, but that's when audio podcasting was at its peak, right? Audio podcasting has gone down, and of course, video content has gone up over time. So I don't really know how many downloads we have and how many subscribers like that we have. So maybe Corey, if you can write a note and maybe we'll get a few stats. I think it would be fun for people to hear.
Yeah, I'll need access to a couple of the
just tell us what you need.
And all that.
Mary will probably be able to. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. Okay.
No, it sounds fun.
What other things that he mentioned is so one of the interesting things about like most listened or viewed or downloaded episode. The one thing I know about the channel, right? Because I upload this video to my channel, the Podfather Gaming YouTube channel, is that Ignacy and I did an episode at Gen Con. This would go back at least 5 years at this point. I don't remember, Ignacy, what year it was. I mean, obviously, I could go find out, and maybe I could do it in a minute or two. And it ended up getting the most views of any of my videos I've ever done for the show. The single most viewed video that I've ever done is the reveal of the Ticket to Ride Legacy game that I just did this like 1 minute like unboxing. It was the first time anybody had seen it. And it was from the UKGE, Asmodee's media thing. But for the podcast, for whatever reason, we had thousands of downloads, thousands of views on YouTube for that particular episode. Ignacy and I sitting next to each other in the lobby of the Marriott Hotel. That's true.
Wow.
What's the future of this podcast, boys? Come on.
I think it's this.
This.
Yeah. I don't know. We all gonna buy Ferraris and drive around the world?
I like my Corvette better than a Ferrari, so it's much more comfortable and faster.
All right, we won't do
that. We don't know. I mean, really. I mean,
I don't know. I have in my short list to go to Poland, and if I go to Poland, we have to do something live in Poland. I've been in love with Gdansk ever since David Gilmour did his Live in Gdansk concert, and I've wanted to visit Krakow, and I've wanted to visit Warsaw, and I mean, there's so much I just haven't seen. So
okay.
I see that as the future.
I just want to sum up all the different answers we gave to the Marco. Marco, we have no clue how many people are listening to the podcast. We have no clue what country they are from, and we have no clue for the future of the podcast. Like, we are just in the moment, we are enjoying the moment, having fun, and this is all we do.
I can say definitively at the end, what would make you end it? Winning a lottery? No, because we don't do it for the money. So there is no money in this podcast.
Yeah, so make sure everybody knows that.
We do it for fun.
We don't make a dime. In fact, it costs us money to do the podcast, and we happily absorb that. We do it for the love of doing it. Simple as that. And making you guys happy.
Bought by Asmodee.
There's nothing for them to buy. They could buy the name, they could buy us, they can start paying us if they wanted, but no, there's nothing for them to buy. Would anybody continue if somebody left? I think I think we had two. If somebody left, we'd go on with two, I guess. But
I really enjoy doing the news related stuff and the insider stuff, so I don't see myself leaving anytime soon,
no.
much to your chagrin.
If you do some work, I wouldn't mind you, hanging around more. But
Thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. But anyway, Marco, thank you for that. I really enjoyed that question. Kevin Wardener, he's Jercules. We love that name.
Eh.
I have a feeling Steven may be biased, but which IP has the better stable of board games? Lord of the Rings or Star Wars? Lord of the Rings.
No.
Come on.
Short answer, Star Wars has a better stable. Lord of the Rings is threatening it. Lord of the Rings recently has had very good games.
Wait. Better games. Which one has, on average, better games? That's
Star Wars.
Has better stable of boards. So a better games, right? That's what you're going to say. A better selling.
Better stable of games.
So
Star
define
Wars.
stable. Define that.
But Lord of the Rings in the past year has had a lot of winners and is threatening that stable.
I will say bullshit. I'm not supposed to curse, but I will say that is wrong. Yes, Lord of the Rings is really.
We got Star Wars Unlimited, Star Wars Deck Builder. We've got their miniatures games. We've got X-Wing historically. We've got the big X-Wing Armada historically. We have Battle for Hoth.
We've got so many better
Rebellion.
games. So many better games on the Lord of the Rings side. So many better games. Of course, War of the Ring, but so many better games. Okay, Ignacy, you got to break the tie. Which has a better set of games out there?
I'll pay you to disagree with him.
I'll pay you more.
Lord of the Rings.
Really? I think you're biased by the new releases.
No. I'm checking BGG as I'm speaking. War of the Ring is an old game and it's brilliant. Lord of the Rings LCG was very, very good game.
I think it was a sleeper.
Lord of the Rings Confrontation from Rainer Knizia, super awesome game. The Battle of Five Army is awesome.
Battle of Five Armies and The Hunt were derivative.
Well,
I could easily do the top 5, maybe top 10 of very, very good games of Lord of the Rings. And now I will check Star Wars and you can talk other stuff.
Okay. You check on that. And then we'll go and we'll get back to you in a second.
I think Lord of the Rings also has a huge stable of very poor games. There's more games.
Well, it's an older IP.
I would agree that it may be the truth.
Yeah, I mean it's an older IP, so therefore it has more games. But on average, Lord of the Rings / Hobbit. I think we can include both, right? I think that's sort of the same legendarium, right? The Tolkien legendarium. I love that word. Lord of the Rings is better. Ignacio's going to give us.
I already have a feedback. So Star Wars Rebellion, super awesome game. Yes. Star Wars X-Wing was a huge game and it was brilliant. Star Wars Outer Rim.
Great game.
Did very, very well.
Super awesome. We have Star Wars Unlimited, which is one of the best CCGs out there. There was this old game that I never played, but I heard it's freaking amazing. But it is out of stock Star Wars: The Queen Gambit from 2000.
It's a very good game. It mechanically was redone into Star Wars Risk, but it's not as good.
Phenomenally good game.
Yeah, so and The Mandalorian Adventures from Korey Konieczka, brilliant. So I have to say, after the checking the data, Star Wars is winning.
Oh,
I still stand by my short answer. Star Wars has the better stable, but in the past year, Lord of the Rings has really closed the gap tremendously. In the past year, the recent games, Lord of the Rings is winning.
I'm no longer speaking to either one of you. So goodbye. I'm done. I'm going to be quick. So Marco, I'm going to be quitting the podcast. And Kevin, you and I, for creating this problem, we're not talking either anymore. Okay. Scott V is at Scott Dawn 1. He says, Steven, he calls me out. Steven, with your recent, consistent Mars talk on the show, a hypothetical for you. Okay. If you would be given one of 5 spots on a one-way trip to Mars, there's only 5 spots, okay, and you can bring only one person of your choosing, would you go? So I can
You
bring
you
any.
should assume that anybody you want to bring actually does want to go.
Okay.
You
The
can't, think about whether other people want to go.
the other three people will be random engineers, scientists, etc. You will be allowed to bring 10 board games with you, and that's it. Everything else is for the mission, where you would spend as much time as you want between playing your 10 games and making the most of discoveries and living on Mars until end of days. You go down in history as one of the first 5 to Mars, but otherwise cut off from family, friends on Earth. Oh, and for everyone to answer, if you did go, what are the 10 games you would bring, knowing max player count will be somewhere between a guaranteed 2 and a possibly up to 5? So
I
first of
think
all, okay, let me
10
answer the
games
first
is a
part.
long list. I mean, you give like 2 or 3.
Yeah, no, let me make the first part, okay? Because he actually says, who would I bring on this trip, right? First of all, I know this, maybe this is shocking, but I'm not going to go on a one-way trip to Mars. I like my life here on Earth. I will be rooting for the first people to go, and hopefully they get back. And I believe in the technology, but I'm not going on a one-way trip to Mars in my lifetime. Thank you, Scott, for doing that. Who would I bring? Not one of these two guys, since we're not talking anymore. Uh, I I don't know. I can't make any crazy answers there. Uh, I don't know who I would bring, but as far as games, I think in the end, if I was going to bring, whatever, any number of games, I'd want to make it games that are mechanically different from one another, right? Like, one, I love trick taking, one great trick taking, one great war game, one great, you know, deep Euro game. It gotta be Terraforming Mars is one of the games, I mean, which I love too. So, do you guys
No, no,
have
no.
any
You would
like
have
that?
you would have like a live action role playing game, Terraforming Mars in real life. So you don't need a board game to do that. You would be
That's a
doing it
good
in real
point.
life.
It's live action role playing of Terraforming Mars. That's pretty good. Um, yeah, so I mean that's how I would pick. How would you guys pick? You're leaving the planet or whatever the case may be. How would you pick the
I'm
games?
kind of floored by this. I can't come up with good answers. Um, I would kind of do what you're talking about, one from each genre, but I'm so finicky with games that it's usually what I've played most recently that really sticks with me. So I mean, because I've played it a lot recently, I would bring Eternal Decks. Eternal Decks has good variability play to play. It's not the same every time you play it. It's got a bit of that abstraction of a, classic game. So that would be on my list.
Ignacy, anything you want to mention?
No, no. When I'm discussing travels, I'm always saying I'm out. No,
You're not
thank
going
you.
to Mars, Ignacy?
All right. So what if you were stranded on a desert island, right? Mary made you go on that ship and you got dumped off the back of the ship and you ended up on a desert island and you just happened to meet 3 other people on that island. It was deserted except for 3 people, you and Mary. What games would you want to
I
have
would,
there?
yes, I would vote for the card games, Amigo Spiele style card of the card games because they're quick.
Mm,
You can play them in many different number of players, and because there is a lot of numbers on them. After we get bored with these card games, we can come up with the new rules for the same cards. So I would just take a couple of decks of different six named, etc., etc., and we would have a ton of fun. And then we can come up with the new rules for the same cards. So
Right.
I
easy
like
peasy.
that.
Very cool. All right. That was a great question again. Yeah, we have some really interesting, thought-provoking questions here this week. How are we doing on time? We can take at least one more, right? I don't have
Okay.
a clock. Let's do
Yep.
one more. Ignacy, tell us when we're done. Rob McClune, Rob, good friend. He's at Phantom Existence. By the way, this is from September 7th, so we're talking really, really recent questions here. A very American question ahead. Okay.
Mm.
As tariffs hurt our board game industry, what are some possible board game adjacent areas that company could use to help keep revenue flowing? AEG used and Renegade now publish RPG materials. I assume this is still able to be done at a greater cost in the United States, as I believe companies like Drive Through RPG print here. I could be wrong. So, Rob, the short answer is you're trying to say how would cost be cut if you printed this RPG material in the U.S. It's going to cost more than it costs in China.
Yeah.
It's just going to
And
cost more.
I'm not sure RPGs are a valid business way to make lots of money.
It depends on who you
People
are.
in general, people make RPGs because they love making RPGs, and RPGs are not known for having a high profit margin or big revenue.
Right, and it depends on the company, right? So, like,
Well, like we're not counting D&D.
D&D, but Free League has been doing, from what I can see on the outside, they've been doing extraordinarily well with both IP based and internally their own IPs, right? So they've got the One Ring, of course,
Yeah.
which is doing phenomenally well. They've got so like some internal stuff like Coriolis, I think. I forgot their dystopian universe one. They have like
they have
one in
Vasen. Yes, they have many, but you have to remember this is one European company who made it. So we have like hundreds of small publishers who are doing role-playing games, and you
Right.
have this one that is an example that you can make it. No, one company made it.
Right. One.
Others are struggling. Yeah.
But I agree with you, Corey, that it's RPGs are like almost done for the love of doing it, and most people do them digitally, and then you have digital downloads, and obviously that's cheap, right? I mean, you could do that,
and that's actually where my answer would lie.
Yep.
Is trying to find a way to pivot to do things digitally. Sell your STL files, sell new STL files, sell files to do 3D printing, sell files to print new variants, sell files to print stickers or boards. Digital is cheap. Cheaper.
Cheaper, right? Still got to do all the work to get it there, but it's cheaper than obviously physically printing.
No shipping, no printing. If you really want to avoid tariff adjacent prices and costs, figure out ways to sell digitally.
Right.
Yeah, but we discussed this a couple of weeks ago already. So the fact is that even though I think that the tariffs right now is 30%, but of course it may be changing in 1 week or two. But basically, it's it's painful, but it's easier for a company to pay this additional 30% of the tariff that change the way the business is created, like change the operation, change the employees, change the talent you have. So like no company will change to create the new products. They will just take this additional tax and pay it and try to survive.
That's right. So we're grinning and bearing it now, but hopefully I think tariffs now went down, into the U.S. to 20%. I think it's like a moving target.
The bottom line, and we've said it over and over, is that even with the additional tariff, it's still cheaper to print in China.
I mean, and the oddest thing of all, even with at 145, that was the highest number that was mentioned. I think. I mean, that actually that went into effect, even at 145%. So that's how double and a half your cost. Still, it was cheaper to do it in China. So it's just kind of crazy. So sad and crazy. And with that, I think it's time to go to play testing. All right, Corey.
This is my favorite part.
Is your favorite because I say nice things about you right now.
You do. You're always so kind to me at playtesting. I think it's because you just don't want to write questions.
I don't. I'm just not good at this. I don't know why, but everyone's got a talent, and if yours is asking questions of people in our audience, good for you. Go.
So
what did we ask?
We asked a very existential question.
Existential.
At what point do you own more games than you could play in your lifetime? And more importantly, is this a problem?
It's a great question. And as usual, we got
Of course, I don't think it's a problem. So I just need to start with Peter Woken, great guy, friend of the channel, wrote, sounds like a Corey level problem to me. I think you own too many games. You have more stacked on the floor next to the shelves than you have on the shelves themselves. I do not have games stacked on the floor next to the shelves.
You do not, because you have more shelves than any human being on the planet. You have more shelves than at most game stores. I mean, I think Millennium Games might have more shelves than you, but that's about it.
So that's about it.
You know what? We didn't. You know, before I even read anybody else's answer from the audience, Ignacy wasn't here last week, so I want to hear Ignacy's answer to this
I
question.
would, yes, I would make a small twist in this question because actually this is a problem I was debating with my daughter a few weeks ago, but it was not about the games, but it was about the books. So I have a lot of books
Yep.
because I'm a bookworm. And I did the maths and I did how many pages I read weekly. And then I did how many books I have in my shelves not yet read. I, on average, I counted how many pages in my library still to read. And it turns out that I will finish reading the stuff that I have on my shelves right now when I'm 71 old. So it
Nice.
looks like I should stop buying new books because I'm getting to my limits, I think. With the games, it's more difficult because you don't know how many times you want to play this particular game. Like a book,
Sure,
I
sure,
read the
sure.
book, next, read the book, next. With the games, of course, we want to play many games many times. But it looks like I'm not yet at this limit for the board games. Like I still can buy games and hope to play all of them. So with the books, I'm reaching my limit. With the games, I still am allowed to buy games.
Yep. This is my, I love this answer from Donald from Canada. Owning more games increases the diversity of games in your collection. If the goal is to play as many games as possible in your lifetime, you're going to want to fill your house with as many games as possible! Exclamation point. The last thing that you want is to look at your shelves with visitors and not be able to find something that interests them. This would reduce your lifetime gaming hours and rob everyone of great gaming experiences. Shoot for the moon. This gentleman is the reason for the industry. Thank you, Donald.
Yeah, yeah. Someone else wrote the question for me. I can't even understand the words used. It's, Tiago Ali de Oliveira wrote, I may have reached that twice already. A few years back, I lived in Brazil and have a huge collection, and maybe had already reached that, let's say about 15 years ago. Then I moved to the US, and when that happened, I sold almost my entire collection. But since then, I've already acquired back more games than I expect to play in my lifetime.
Yeah,
You buy them for other people to come visit and play and to share the love. At
that's
least
it.
that's what I tell myself and my therapist.
And your therapist, yes. Um, Ben Stein, good friend,
Oh no,
says,
I don't want to hear his answer.
yeah, he's giving. He says, I think my theoretical maximum is 2,000. I estimate that
Mm,
I have already played about 300 games. Oh, that all, Ben? And I just turned 57. Based on my level of interest in the hobby, I think I will play an average of at most one new game a week. That's pretty good. If I optimistically live to 90, that's about 1,700 new games. So 300 plus 1,700 is 2,000. That's not a problem for me, as I don't expect to own more than 100 to 200 games at any one time. Obviously, the maximum number for other people, especially those more active in the hobby than me, could be a lot higher. Great question, he says, Corey.
oh, that was a great answer.
That's a great answer. That's a
It's
very
the
well thought out
2000 bothers me a little bit,
one.
but because I mean, certainly nothing to do with how many games I own and the fact that I'm the same age as Ben Stein.
Yeah. Um, Joey Larson says, I admittedly have a vague hope for a Stephen Corey period of life retirement where I have a lot of time to play. I sure hope my body and mind are ready for that time. Okay.
I
He,
have brought
he
a
So
ton
this
of
is
games to
can I
PAX.
yeah,
chime in?
yeah.
I
Yes,
because I have my as you guys know I play war games which are very complex and with these complex rule books etc. etc. And with my group when we are discussing what we will be doing in 20 years, we think that at some point we'll be not able to play these super complex games, and our plan for this retirement is playing role-playing games, just being dwarf, killing goblins, and this is our plan.
that
So
sounds
at
great.
some point we will switch from heavy euros and heavy war games into just simple kill monsters and have fun.
Very, very cool.
Very awesome.
I'll read another one here. I like this one from John Canost. He's often given us answers. The
Yep.
beauty of this question, and perhaps the terror of it, no one knows. I could reasonably expect to play through my entire collection of a few hundred titles several times over, perhaps. Perhaps not. Who knows? I may already be too late. Is it a problem? Probably not.
Nope. Nope. It's all good.
We had a lot of really fun things
Craig
that people
Phillips
said.
has one that really speaks to my heart. Sorry, last one.
Yeah.
The potential to play a game on my own timeline is just as important as playing the game. I live by that.
Very, very cool. So, Corey, again, you gave us a great question for this coming week. So, why don't you read that to everybody?
So, the new brilliant question. I actually quite like this question.
Yeah, I rewrote it, of course, but that's okay.
Yeah, it was better when I wrote it.
I always he puts like 3 words down as the question. I have to rewrite it to give it some flavor. Go ahead.
Do you think that we recognize new board game mechanisms and genres immediately? Or do you think they need to sit in the culture for a while to be defined? So, for instance, we might have a new genre right now of what I call large deck games, though it's not been named yet. Terraforming Mars, Wingspan, Earth, Ark Nova. These are games that, to a certain extent, balance by the use of an enormous deck of cards that are all unique. Is that a genre that hasn't been recognized yet? Or do you think we immediately see new genres and new mechanisms?
Yeah, I think for myself, I think that it has to sit and it has to foment. And when one person does it, it doesn't become a new genre until at least another and another and another. And all of a sudden, wow, okay, deck building became a thing because Dominion had people riff on deck building, right? That's how
I think deck building was a quantum jump. It was significantly different and significantly unique. So I think it did define a genre very quickly.
It defined it more quickly than most.
We didn't really talk about deck builders for until years after Dominion.
We did not talk about them, you said?
Deck builders. We didn't talk about them until Star Realms, Legendary. Then we started talking about games being deck builders.
Oh, I think it happened pretty quick.
Dominion was not the first game to do deck building mechanism. It just was the most significant one.
Yeah. Your example is interesting.
From my perspective, we as the publishers and we as the designers, especially as the designers, we need to see these new ideas and predict which of these new ideas will be something interesting for the whole industry, because then we want to be part of this new hype for this new mechanism. And we at Portal Games, I think we were for years, for decades right now, quite on top of the new trends. I just checked, the Love Letter was released in 2012, and 3 years later, 2015, I already have on the market the Tides of Time, which, because Love Letter released at S 2012, it was the first micro game that blown away everyone else in the industry. And 2 years later, 2015, at Gen Con, I have Tides of Time. And we have a Guns Sean Clever blooming the Gathering of Friends of Alan Moon, and everybody's talking about the Guns on Clever. Then we have a Welcome to, and a year later, Portal Games has a Roll and Write, Imperial Setters. So, like, my job in the company is seeing what's interesting, what's new, what may be a potential for the change in the industry. And of course, Corey question is, I guess, if we as a gamers, if we see this is a new genre. So the question is, if players in 2012 at SN realized that the Love Letter will be a new genre. Probably not yet. And 2 years later, there was so many other micro games, or 2 years later, there was so many roll and rides. We as a publishers have to, and gamers, they will have some delay, like Internet Explorer.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good way of thinking about it. So we kind of have to view those and see those new trends first. We have to grab onto them and say, "Whoa, look at this interesting new-ish thing." Even deck building technically wasn't new, because we had like the Magic the Gatherings, which are deck building, but in a different way.
Crafting.
Okay, I mean, but you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, yes, we could do semantics on this, but it's like we have to kind of recognize them first, and then the gamers will we'll see that, oh my gosh, yes, and then we'll kind of use it in the marketing. Well, if you liked the idea of Dominion doing this, then and there was Core Worlds that came out after that, and that was my game in the deck building universe. You like Gone Shun Clever? That's pretty clever. Well, we're gonna riff on that one with rolling rights and rolling rights and rolling rights for the longest time.
And I think right now we're starting to see the riffs on the crew, on cooperative trick taking. We're seeing a big bloom on cooperative, the crew-like cooperative trick taking.
Trick taking will be huge in next year. The amount of prototypes I received from the designers, this is a huge wave of trick taking games. For years, trick taking was just the numbers and playing for ladder games, and now designers are using trick taking for all type of games, and this is gonna be huge.
Oh, I got to give a shout out here to a trick-taking game. I forgot that I played this yesterday called Parlay. I guarantee you guys have not heard of this game, right? Parlay, anybody?
No. I mean, I've heard of it, but I haven't played it. It's a
racing game, not horse racing sort of, but just racing where you have to try to get to everyone starts at the same point, try to get to the end, but you're doing so by trick-taking. So you got to predict the number of tricks you're going to take, and if you hit that, you get 2 points plus the number of tricks you took. You get both of those points. And if you miss the number of tricks, you go back 1 for each one you missed it by. Like if I predict I'm going to take 2 tricks and I took 0 tricks, I go back 2 spaces. So wild. And the cards are made to screw with people's minds. Like it's not always just the standard deck of cards. There is that, but there's all these special cards and it's just completely unbalanced or throw the whole trick-taking mechanism on its side.
Such an incredible number of trick takers come out at SM this year. It really, I don't know if we've plateaued yet, but we're certainly really close. And a lot of the hottest games of SM were trick takers.
And I'm going to make just one more comment, and then Ignacy, you can start to put this in the group. As playtesting, whatever we are, 396. I don't know. Yes. So the other comment I want to make is about you actually put there large deck. Is that a genre? And I think it's weirdly. I think it is now a genre because you kind of define it. Terraforming Mars, Wingspan, Earth, Ark Nova. They all use that, but I don't think anybody has talked about it. I've never.
I've talked about it.
You're a genius. I've heard people, of course, make parallels between Terraforming Mars.
Well, that's what really got me to it. Is as soon as Ark Nova came out, they compared to Terraforming Mars, and when Earth came out, they compared to Terraforming Mars. There's no thematic reason. The only comparison is this large deck mechanism.
Yeah, and even the cards have costs. Okay, the cards have requirements. Okay, so that's why people were saying, "Oh, well, Ark Nova is like Terraforming," and I was like, these games are not alike at all. And really what they are, as you've pointed out, large deck games. It's not the size of your deck that matters, Corey. I'm sorry, but it's, these are large deck games.
It's what you do with them. It's
what all you do with your deck. And they are
about the building.
Each one of them is just an amazing game and sell really well. So maybe we have now decided large deck games are the big thing. Let's start making some large deck games. Ignacy, get on that. All right. Well,
I have 51st State with this mechanism.
There you go.
I was going to say 51st State and Imperial Settlers are very large deck.
There you go. So Ignacy has already created a thread on Board Game Geek for you to go answer this play testing question. Go there, find the thread, answer the question, and maybe we'll take your answer next week. And in the meantime, the final scoring. Thank you all for listening so much, and help us spread the word about the podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider, and then you'll be counted by Corey for the next episode, and wherever they like to get their podcast, or watch Board Games Insider on the Podfather Gaming YouTube channel, where you should go subscribe to the channel, and therefore you'll be counted there too. I'll tell everybody how many people I have on my channel later at next episode. And if you want to be part of this podcast, of course you can. We've just given you ways of doing that. Go download the episode. Go be part of the guild and answer our questions for playtesting and give us questions for strategy and tactic. It's all up there. I know you can do it. Please help us out by doing so. Interact with us on social media. Pick the one that you like: Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. We're all over the place, YouTube, and we're the same handle. It's at Board Games Insider, Portal Games US, Podfather Gaming, Dice Tower Dish, Play to Z Games, Above Board TV, and pick the one of your choice to be and hang out with us. And you'll be hearing directly back from us when we answer you. A special call out, of course, to those YouTube channels: Portal Games Studio, The Podfather of Gaming, and Above Board TV. If you want to see us in person, well, hopefully I saw some of you guys here at BGGCon, and Corey's going to see some people over at PAX. After that, we're going to be home for a bit, right? We're not going to be traveling much to any other conventions for a while.
Till March.
Till March for Gamma.
Gamma, Dice Tower West, and I think I'm going to Lyricon.
Oh, that's so cool. I really wish I was going to Lyricon. You get both are going to Lyricon, right?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Man. And the only reason I'm not going is because I'm going to be somewhere else. So I'm sorry about that. I got a tacit invite from our good buddy, Uli Blenneman of Spielworks. Shout out to him. He's such an amazing person.
Uli's so fun.
What a guy. What a man that he is, really. Board Games Insider is professionally edited by Jake Thompson. Thank you, Jake, for putting up with all this crap from us. You are the best. You are the best despite your father. And also that great voice you hear doing the intro, the outro, and in between segments is that of Ray Greenlee, who I'm missing because he's over at PAX, and I see him once a year at PAX. If you want him to do your voiceover work, he's got such a sultry, lovely voice. You can reach him find him over at raygreenleevoiceover.com. And gentlemen, that brings us to the end of another amazing episode. Thank you for being here, all three of you, all three of us, all two of you, and me. If I can talk English, it would be really good. Ignacio's English is getting better than mine.
It's your second language, Stephen, so you're doing quite well.
My first language is Brooklynese, right, with my hands. So we have something here, it looks like, that Corey put.
I just wanted to put out there that this week has been a little bit of a strange week for me, even in levels of Corey strange. I did, in fact, bid thousands of dollars on a signed bidet.
What?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Just say that again.
We'll just let that sink in for a little bit.
You bid multiple thousands of dollars on a signed bidet.
Yes.
And who signed this bidet that you're going to get?
The lead singer of Gwar. It only gets better every time I add more information, doesn't it?
And you like this guy so much that you bid thousands of dollars in an auction to get.
No, it's for charity.
Oh, well, if it's for charity, anything goes. I agree with that, but
So the full story, John Oliver last week tonight is doing an auction of a lot of material that has shown up on the show or tangential to the show, and the proceeds are going towards public television channels.
That is awesome.
So they're selling wine.
Will you be installing said bidet in your house?
The auction is ongoing. I don't know how far I want to go for a signed bidet, so I don't know if I will in fact win said signed bidet.
Right,
but I feel very honored to have been involved.
That is very cool. But if you do end up winning it and bringing it to the Napa house, may I clean my butt on your signed bidet?
I think I need to treat it in some manner so that the signature won't go away. But if I can really varnish it properly, then I would install it and have it for use.
And I can use it.
Well, other people could use it.
I have two comments. First comment:
Only two?
We started the podcast with Syphilis card, and we are finishing the podcast with the bidet card. Guys, you crazy. The second comment I have a very important update. It turned out that my very uncomfortable chair is squeaky and making noises the same like the past one. So I want to apologize to Jake. Now we both suffer. You editing the podcast and I'm sitting on a very uncomfortable chair. I promise to get a new chair for the next recording.
Oh my goodness.
And
I will say Jake makes fun of us to me endlessly whenever I'm home.
And I apologize to Jake for all of the cursing I did before the show started. He will hear it all because I was frustrated.
Edit that out.
I was frustrated with all the technology problems I was having. Paula was like, "I'm out of here." She left the room. She was like, "You're in a bad mood. I'm out of here."
Wow.
And also, I'm not wearing headphones for like the first time, so there's going to be all this. So when you guys talk, it's getting recorded here, and of course my loud
Yeah.
stuff. So Jake is going to have all kinds of problems on my side. So I'll be
Wow.
the problem child for this episode. I apologize, Jake. I will make this work better next time. I promise. Well, normally I have a better rig, but I did minimal. I did the iPad with the Rode mics. So we'll get better at this, Jake. I promise.
There you go.
Everybody, thank you again for listening. Thank you so much for our 10 subscribers. No, Corey's going to give us some great stats next week. I'll give some stats next week. It's going to be fun. I'll have best, most downloaded, most this, most that. We'll figure it all out. But bye, everybody. See you next week.
Take care.
See you later,
Bye-bye.
everyone. So, Ignacy, you'll appreciate this. I was